Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for the podcast version of Trey's Variety Hour is brought to you by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
And we're live. It's more X-Files. Sorry, we've got this J.J. Abrams light coming in, but I think it's pretty cool. Welcome to Trey's Variety Hour number 25. I'm here with Tom Anderson at his place. Hey, Tom.
I'll move into the light.
Hello, everybody. This is going to be sort of a photo walk-centric one. We had a great photo walk with some amazing photographers of all levels yesterday here in Los Angeles. It was a ton of fun. And we're going to be going through photos and telling stories and having a good time. We have all sorts of people in here tonight, and others might stop by, join us. Let's go around the horn for introductions and say hi to everybody and get to know some new faces and some old, tired faces like Gordon Laing. Hey, Gordon, you took a giant bite before I introduced you. What's going on, Gordon?
Yeah, just got the spinach in the teeth there. I know I can rely on you for just constant abuse, right? Sorry, everyone. I'm just having my dinner at the moment. I'm very hungry. My job is to review digital cameras and lenses. I publish those reviews at cameralabs.com. This week, still testing the Canon G1X, their first large sensor compact, and I've got loads of sample images of that. Hope to publish my next 7 review imminently, and more and more and more. So check out cameralabs.com if you want to see reviews and that sort of thing. Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to tonight's hangout.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Gordon. That will be a great review. And also, if you guys missed last week, I had a horrible connection problem, but Gordon basically hosted the whole show, and we had on the photographer/astronaut Ron Guerin. It was a great show, all about astrophotography, and I'm going to repost that. You did a great job, Gordon, so thank you.
Oh, thanks, Trey. It was a really fun hangout. Unfortunately, some of the really juicy stuff didn't get recorded, but I mentioned it in the stream. So there's some really interesting things about how they actually use their cameras outside in space. I couldn't believe it, but it turns out you can use a D3S almost unmodified in space without housing. Who'd have thought that?
That's cool. I didn't know that either. Okay, let's say hello to Brian Rose from Google.
And then when you come, hey guys, I'm Brian Rose. I'm the Google Plus Photos Community Manager. You can find me on Google Plus. Just search for Brian Rose. And I'm based out of LA.
Cool. Thank you, Brian. Hey, we're getting some feedback from somebody. Who is that, Dave?
I'm not sure. There was some female talking in the background, but it might have been Brian.
Yeah, you never know.
Many talents.
Okay, cool. Let's say hello to another Googler here, the slightly less bearded than usual Ricardo Lagos.
All right, nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Ricardo. I'm an amateur photographer. I do a lot of different stuff. As I'm getting started, just basically whatever gets in front of my camera, landscape, a lot of street, and wherever the photo walks go. And like you mentioned, I also do work at Google, and it's a really, really fun job.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us. And let's say hello to Liz and Terrence Lui. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi. Perfect pronunciation on the last name. Very impressive.
Well, we spend a lot of time in Asia, so we're very sensitive to that side of the world.
Well, thank you for having us.
Sure. You guys want to talk about your website or what you do or anything?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm a major foodie and amateur food photographer, Pasadena, California, and I love to cook and write recipes and take photos of my dishes. And I just decided, let's do this photo walk because I haven't been to Santa Monica in a decade. So it was definitely fun to go to see all the new structures they put up and keep some of the old stuff too. It was nice to have that walk down memory lane.
So I actually am an entrepreneur. I'm trying to do a startup right now, but in my spare time, I do a lot of just photography and amateur photography, and just dragged Liz along with me to the photo walk. And she, like she said, she loves doing photography too for her food. But we figured it was just, doing scenic stuff was a little bit not our style, but it was a good time to meet everybody at the photo walk. So.
And you're sitting so close to each other because you are married.
Yes, we are married.
TV coaster.
In a little different way. Yes, thank you for coming to the photo walk, and that's why you're here, to share pictures and tell stories and this stuff. And now let's say hello to Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Ambats. I am an aviation photographer. I specialize in air-to-air photography. I'm editor of an aviation magazine called Plane and Pilot Magazine, and I'm also a pilot. When I'm on the photo flights, though, I'm not the pilot who's flying. I always have a pilot who flies me while I shoot photos. For this photo walk, I was up in a helicopter orbiting near the pier.
Yes, thanks for coming out with your chopper run by. That was great. And also, I'll give Jessica a plug. She is writing an ebook for flatbooks.com all about aerial photography, and it's going to be a winner. So thank you for that, Jessica.
Thank you.
And let's say hi to Dave, my most excellent producer. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Trey. How's it going? Hey, Tom. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
everybody can find me at plusdave.com. That'll give you my Google Plus profile.
Awesome. Thank you. And also joining us after a week's absence is Tony Wang from TWiT. Hi, Tony.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I am doing good.
Good. So if anyone wants to chat live, you can go to live.twit.tv, where this is all broadcast in high def, and there's a great chat room and very nice people in there, and we like to collect questions and this kind of stuff. All right, well, let's get right into talking about this this photo walk. First, let me show you guys around here. We have some behind-the-scenes stuff happening at Tom's place. I didn't really tell people I was going to do this, but I will go ahead and do it. Back here, where's Anton? There, I thought he was by the light. There's Anton Lorimer over there. Hello, Anton.
The legend.
The legend. And there's Jude Wang over there. Hello. There's other people back there, but they're not showing themselves. They're being shy. Here's Margaret from New York. Hello, Margaret. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Joel, hi.
Hello. Do you have a website or anything you want to plug?
No, I don't want to plug anything unless you want to pay my car insurance.
Oh, well. They're doing some fun behind-the-scenes stuff here. We're all slanted now. So I think
And that light is right across your face.
Is it?
There you go.
Too much? Does it look cool, or is it too much?
I think it's cool.
Anton, can you pull your slide
I'll leave
out?
it on if it looks cool. But maybe
It can be whatever you want it to be. It can be cool if you want it to be cool.
No. Okay. Well, so let's start by talking about the photo walk. I've prepared a few things to talk about, and mostly it's going to be you guys showing photos and telling stories and this sort of thing. But I'll start with Tom and kind of see what Tom thought about it. It was one of his first bigger kind of photo walks, and I know he was sort of in a different area than me, and we've been busy. We haven't really had a chance to compare notes yet. So what did you think, Tom?
Well, I was very excited to see all the people out there. Of course, it was super fun. And I didn't get a ton of shots because I was meeting people and saying hi and stuff. But when I got home, I think I've already posted about this, and Trey and I have been shooting all day.
Yeah.
We started at 10 in the morning, and we went to the photo walk, and then after that, we went down to the Queen Mary and tried to shoot some haunted locations.
The ghost ship.
The ghost ship. And then I had cool shots, and I was watching them all day, looking at my screen. And when I got home and plugged in my card, there was nothing there. So all my wonderful thoughts and feelings about the photo walk were dashed on the floor. So I got nothing. I have no shots from yesterday. And we've tried a couple of card reader utility recovery programs to get them back. Another one's like running on a computer over there. It takes an hour for it to come back and say there's nothing here.
Hey, so Tom, in your thread there, I posted a link to on Ubuntu forums that somebody that had the same exact name of the volume and same kind of error and what they did to fix it. And basically, like, you would create an image on your drive of it, and that way you don't have to wait forever for it to try and recover each time.
Right. Wasn't that guy on Linux or something?
Yeah, but it's, you know, you're on OS X, you can kind of probably run the same commands.
Okay, I don't know anything about Mac. I was ready to just send it in SanDisk and they take care of it. I talked to a wonderful girl from India this afternoon on the phone. Customer service. Said I could just send it in, so I'm kind of done with that.
We can barely hear you, Tom.
Oh. So I think I'm just going to send it in to get it fixed. SanDisk. I think it's a shell company. They don't actually call it SanDisk, but I think they own it, just so whenever you have those bad feelings, you don't associate it with them.
Tom, you must be the world's unluckiest photographer.
I know.
You destroyed a camera, now you destroyed your memory.
It's just not going right for you. Maybe a different hobby. What do you reckon?
I want to take up fishing.
Knitting.
Yeah. Just don't take your camera with you.
Yeah, I destroyed my camera last week. It fell in the ocean. I've been arrested so far.
I would cry if that happened to me.
I got arrested a couple weeks ago. I've almost fallen off a cliff. I almost got hit by a car.
Tell the arrest story.
Wow.
Yeah, tell the arrest story.
Photographers love stories about photographers getting arrested.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you project, you're good.
Okay, project. So, I don't know, 3 weeks ago I was in Hancock Park, I think is the name of it. It's near Koreatown in LA. And it's a nice park. It's got a lake and buildings reflecting in the water, so I just pulled over. I was with another photographer, a young lady, and we went and we were shooting. We'd been shooting for about 10 minutes, and these two guys started walking towards us. They looked a little thuggish, but we just kept shooting. And then these cops roll up. Quietly, they just rolled in on the grass. They didn't have their lights up or anything, and they started arresting those guys. So I figured that they were suspicious. I don't know, they'd done something, and maybe they'd saved us or whatever. We just kept shooting. And then, I don't know, 5 minutes later, we started to walk away, and we were just leaving. We were done shooting. And then they came up to us and arrested us. And turns out you can't be in this park after dark. So they didn't give us, they didn't just tell us to leave or anything. They handcuffed us, and that was that. So
wow.
And then they said their whole system is so slow. They said you can't go to your court date before X or Y. Wait like a week or something. So I did go down to the courthouse and try to take care of this, but it wasn't in the system yet. And now I missed my date, so now I have another warrant for my arrest. And I've been driving Trey's rental car. I'm not on the thing. I mean, I'm just waiting for something. Yeah. I'm going to get taken down for something.
Yeah, so we're driving around L.A. We're riding dirty. It's not a good scene. I didn't think he was such a felon when I got involved with him.
Right. So, yeah, I've been arrested. I've destroyed my camera. I've had all my shots go away into the ether. And I've almost died twice by I haven't told this either, but getting hit by a car on the road and falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
All in 5 months. So
maybe Gordon is right. You do need a new hobby.
Tom, was all this stuff happening before you took up photography? Because I don't know, maybe this sort of stuff happens all the time anyway.
I was the golden child before that. Everything was cool.
And more importantly, did any of this happen before you met Trey?
Yeah, he's got bad mojo.
Mm.
Well, let's start sharing photos from the event and telling stories. Let's start with Brian Rose. Brian, do you have some stuff you want to share?
Yeah, there's a few photos from yesterday's Santa Monica photo walk that I'd like to go through. There's basically all this noise that you hear behind me. I'm at Google LA, and one of our VPs is here, so there's just a lot of activity. It's usually not this loud. So if you're having trouble hearing me, just let me know, and I can maybe switch to a new room.
You're cool.
But
What was that? You just posted a bikini photo.
I did. I'll show you some of my photos first.
Yeah. I want to hear more about these bikini girls, too.
So, yeah, this is the photo that I just shared. There are two girls on the beach. basically just, they're sunbathing. And that's when 200 photographers came and asked to take their photo. So
right. That's not a photo of two girls in a bikini that you're showing us, but that's cool too, though, that you're describing.
Which photo are you seeing?
It's the little
kids
girl.
on the ride.
3 girls on the ride.
Let me double check. There might be a delay in the hangout.
Yeah, I see bikini girls.
You do?
Are you seeing it now?
I see 3 girls on a ride.
I still see the 3 girls on the ride.
Okay.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
So let me take down that point of feedback for the Hangouts team. But basically, 2 girls on the beach, they're just sunbathing, and then 200 photographers swarmed, descended on Santa Monica Pier, and we asked if we could take their photo. So with this one in particular, I just really liked the light that was coming through. And I tried my best to boost the saturation on her tattoo, just because I really like the colors there, the contrast. So this was the favorite photo that I took, but I can actually go through some of the photos that other people have taken, which I think are actually much nicer than the ones that I've gotten.
Sure. Hey, Brian, let's come back to you when there's less background chatter, because it's a little bit chatty back there. Is that okay?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, cool. Let's jump over to Liz and Terrence. Do you guys want to show us some photos you took, and then maybe show us some of your other favorites, or maybe share some stories with us from the event?
Sure, love to. Well, the first one is my suggestion to Tom as his hobby. Check this out.
Okay.
So I was so excited when I took this picture because I'm like, babe, we need to call TMZ. I'm going to cash this thing in. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, isn't that Keanu Reeves? So you can definitely be a stunt double for Keanu Reeves if you get bored.
I'd like to do that. We shared the same name in the Matrix.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson.
Neo.
So actually, this isn't showing up. This particular photo was one that I had posted. And as I said at the beginning, Liz and I aren't really scenic photographers. So, I tried some of the pier and tried some of the other things, but it wasn't quite working out for me, or at least compared to, I think, some of the other people on Google+. I get a little bit ashamed when I compare myself to them. But I'm usually more about light, different angles, different things. And as I was trying to take a picture of the Ferris wheel that had lit up, I noticed that, oh wow, there's when it lights up really well, like and the tide rolls in, you get this beautiful reflection in the sand, and that's when I was able to take kind of this purple reflection onto the sand. So that was one of them. Another picture we took, I'm trying to find it. This particular one again, it was one of the telescopes that was by the Ferris wheel and the thing that spins. And I'm all about, like I said, taking views from different perspectives. And so Liz actually, when we had walked by, they said, "Hey, that's it's not showing up in the Hangout yet, I don't think." Anyway.
No, we can see it. We can see it.
Oh, you can see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oops, it's moving. Liz had suggested that I actually take a picture of that one because she really liked, the kind of the symbolism with the telescope looking out and taking a photo from that one. So, like we said, we kept trying to find different things, different items and objects along the pier. And Santa Monica is a great place to do that, right, Liz? Because there's all sorts of objects and things.
It is, and it's just one of those, like nostalgic, photos that you're like, yep, this is what I think of when I think of the pier, especially as a kid.
You said you hadn't been there in so long. Where do you two live now?
We live in Pasadena, right?
Pasadena.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, on the Rose Parade route.
So not far, and you hadn't been out.
Yeah, we don't go to Santa Monica too often. I mean, definitely not the pier. I mean, sometimes she loves to shop, so sometimes 3rd Street and things like that. But not too much not too much the actual pier.
Right.
And the parking alone, I mean, even without the Cirque du Soleil, is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, parking was rough, for sure. Did you guys have any stories you wanted to share? Anything that happened that you thought was funny or interesting?
Well, I mean, first, people I met just saying hi randomly, they're all really nice and sweet. And then to top it off, there was a gentleman who made, fudge for everybody. And I saw him. I actually didn't get one, but I saw him walking around, one hand with the camera, one hand with that tin of fudge, and he was handing it out while snapping pictures. And I thought that was so endearing. And this is like, the best scenario for our community.
And actually, the fudge was really good. So I got a piece. But the fudge was excellent. So it was really nice on that guy's part.
Yeah, that was very nice of him. Before these photo walks, I always stand up and give some sort of Mussolini-esque speech to the crowd, and I announced as usual that my mom has made fudge, but she didn't make enough fudge for everybody. And this kind gentleman named Joe Valley, he stayed up all night making hundreds of pieces of fudge, and he distributed them to everybody. So that was cool.
He has a picture of his kitchen too while he was making it all. He put that online.
Yeah, so I guess most people understand how tags work in Google+, and just in case you don't, if you go click on that #LA photo walk, you'll be able to see hundreds of photos from the event, and it's very fun, kind of interactive way to kind of engage, even if you weren't there. All right, well, thanks, Liz and Terrence. You guys are quite the dynamic duo. You remind me of Shirley Lowe and Charles Liu, because they're another.
They're so sweet. Yeah, I love them.
Another couple that goes around and does what you guys do and recommends shots to each other. That's kind of cute, I guess. I understand you have no reaction because you're in the middle of it all, but I think it's interesting. But I guess we do that in a way. Hey, so I'm going to share a bunch of other photos, but let me share this one in particular. This is not my photo. You might remember those bikini girls from Brian Rose's picture.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And here is, this is one taken by Cam Meadows, and this is Tom looking kind of professorial as he explains the benefits. What did he say about this?
Oh, I don't know. He had something good, which now we're failing to.
Yeah, he said funny caption. I won't
spoil it. Yeah, we won't spoil it for you. You got to go to Cam Meadows' profile. These girls were the dates of these two guys who they claimed to be models. I don't know if they were real models or.
They look pretty real.
They were out there, yeah. They were out there throwing frisbee in a very sort of studied and obvious fashion. And I don't know. They were very happy when the 200 photographers showed up and started shooting them. So those are those guys there. But
yeah. Now for everyone watching at home, Tom is the one on the right. All right.
Tom is the one with the shirt on.
Yeah.
All right.
If it weren't for the hat, you could never tell.
Yeah. We're going to have Jessica share some photos in a minute. But first I wanted to ask Gordon, because these photo walks, they're kind of happening all over the world now. And they've been happening for quite a while, of course. People have been doing these for a long time. But Google Plus seems to be quite a sort of a rallying point for all this activity because it's just easy to organize, and a lot of just very active photographers hang out on Google Plus, so it's a nice place to rally people up. So I wanted to ask Gordon a little bit about it, and I wanted to describe what it was like for him to organize a photo walk in Queenstown. And maybe if you are in a big city or a small town, you can kind of follow his template and get together a little photo walk of your own, because they're great fun. So why don't you share that experience with us, Gordon?
Yeah, sure thing. I like a lot of people here. I've been hearing so much about photo walks from Trey and Thomas Hawk and Lotus Carroll and everyone else, and it always sounded like so much fun. And I was kind of sat here in Queenstown, New Zealand, thinking, I wish there was one here. Why doesn't someone organise one of these things? And then, of course, the little light bulb appears above your head. You can't see it because I've cropped the image off. There was a little light bulb here. And you go, why don't I organise it myself, So you think, well, how do I kind of rally together a bunch of photographers, especially in a town like Queenstown? It's quite small. There's about 10,000 people here. But it's a very transient population. Lots of people come here only for 6 to 12 months and then head off somewhere else. So how do you communicate to them that you're going to have this sort of event? So the first thing I did was post something on Google Plus, and that's when I discovered that. Has Brian gone, by the way? Can he cut me off?
He's coming back.
I'll say, right, I'll get it out now and say, not many people in New Zealand are on Google Plus. So I put it out on Google Plus and didn't get much response from it. So the first thing I would say is know where your people hang out. You know, if they hang out around a tree, then post the announcement on a tree. And it turns out that most people in New Zealand hang out on that other network that rhymes with Lacebook. And as soon as I posted it on that, I got loads and loads of feedback. There's also a neat trick you can do if you don't have many people following you, as I don't, compared to, say, Trey anyway. Use hashtags and things to get people who do talk about things to spread the word. And this was very effective for me on Twitter because I don't have many people from Queenstown or New Zealand following me on Twitter. So I thought, well, how do I get this message out to them? So I hashtagged Queenstown. And there's a big tourist company in Queenstown called Destination Queenstown. And they looked for any mentions of Queenstown. So they saw the hashtag and retweeted that out to a much bigger local audience. So there are ways that you can get your message out through social media very effectively, even if you don't know anyone and even if you've only got a very small number of followers. And the nice thing is that after that had happened on those 3 networks, it kind of spiraled on from there. And the local paper got in touch with me and said, oh, do you want to do a story about it? And that, in turn, was picked up by some people who were just arriving in town for the day. You know, they just arrived. We had some people from Australia who'd just come in on the plane, picked up a newspaper and thought, oh, that looks fun. It's happening tonight. I'll go along. So it was surprisingly easy to kind of get that message out and organize that. The worst thing I did was to ask people what day they wanted to do it on, because, of course, everyone says a different day and a different time. So don't even bother with that. Just say, it's on Saturday the 17th. If you can come, great. If you can't, you know, it's like organizing any event. If you can't, don't ask people what date to do it. But it was great fun. We had about 30 people turn up, which was a big enough group that you got to meet lots of people, but a small enough group that you got to be very personal with all of them. And I filmed a video about it that I'll post a link to. And some people have commented who've been on some other photo walks and said, what was nice about it is they saw lots of tutoring happening, lots of the more experienced photographers helping the less experienced ones. And I got a lot out of it as well, because I made sure I invited some people. Always invite people who are much better at something than you are, so you can learn from them too. You know, you've got to get something out of it as well. But there was no fudge.
Well, do you have a few photos you want to share from the photo walk?
Yeah. Dave, are we having problems with the screen share? Is it going to work?
It should work, but it's just it's like not updating that quickly. It seems like for everybody.
Okay, can you see this?
Yes. You're gonna make
We see. There we go. Yeah.
We see the thumbnails.
Okay.
Now it's
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so I picked out a few photos that were taken taken by different people on the photo walk. This was done by a guy called Cody Westfall. One of the things, now I didn't arrange for this boat to go past, but I did arrange for the photo walk to start at a time when I knew this boat was going to go past. So this is the other thing you can do is try and have things set up at different times to kind of keep the pace going and to also drive it so you think, you know, we've got to be at this location by 7 p.m. or by 8 because something's going to happen. And this steamship goes across the lake on every 2 hours on the hour. And I made sure that we started it 15 minutes before, so we all got to see this. I really like the photos that people take of other people on the walk. This was, I think, taken by Sophie Kennedy with a Canon G11. She got some really great behind-the-scenes shots of these here. Apologies if I get anyone's names wrong. This was a shot by Scott Kennedy, Sophie's husband, who takes some fantastic pictures. And he said something interesting to me, that Queenstown is a very scenic place. It's all about big, epic landscapes. And Scott came back with all these textures. And I said, Scott, what are you doing? You're in one of the most beautiful places in the world. You're not taking pictures of the mountain. He lives here, so that's forgivable. And he said, well, you know what I do? If I see everyone pointing the camera in one direction, I'll point mine in the other. So he came back with lots of nice textures there. This is a car by Lisa, who I believe might be on the TWiT chat. So if you're there, Lisa, good luck with everything. And it was great to see you. She came down from Palmerston North. Here's one of my pictures from towards the end of the day, with the sun setting over the lake. This is a picture by Jason Law, who's got some fantastic pictures on Google Plus if you want to follow him. Big landscape shots, and this is always nice to get some pictures in context as well. You know, you take pictures of the landscape, but take pictures of the people taking the pictures as well. I always find that quite fun. And last of all, here's a photo by Eden Braxton, who I think Trey knows. Really nice guy who, even though he shoots too much HDR for my own personal taste, but this was a nicely restrained HDR shot. This is the kind of HDR I like, where it's not too obvious. So, we had a real kind of variety of people who had different skills, some complete beginners, some who were actual professional photographers, and we all kind of helped each other. I think the only thing that really went wrong, apart from obviously the arrests and the explosions, I couldn't do anything about that. The thing that really went wrong was not telling people how long it was going to last, because a lot of people may not have been on a photo walk before, and they're thinking, is it going to be half an hour? Is it going to be an hour? They don't really know how long it's going to be. So try and give them some sort of indication and let them know if it does go over dinner time. People who are greedy like me, we want to eat. It gets to 6 or 7 o'clock. If the food's not in front of me, I turn into a moody person, which is why you saw me eating just then. So if it is going to go over a meal time, make sure people know, and so they can take something with them or prepare for that. But that was the only real complaint we had on it, and hopefully we'll be having another one soon, so keep an eye open for that on Google Plus and Twitter. And I'll post a link to the video that I made, because they're really useful to kind of show to people what happens on a photo walk and what they can expect.
Cool. Thanks, Gordon. By the way, I'm going to tell you this because you're a friend, but, I hear this all the time. People say, like, oh, this is quite a nice HDR because it's quite restrained or it's quite mild. I'll tell you, speaking on behalf of photographers that happen to swim in that milieu, that we always find those comments to be laced with a little bit of condescension. But I can take it. It's no problem. My defensive senses perk up when I hear that. But it's okay.
That's because it's intended to be given with that condescension trait.
That's all right, Gordon. You son of a gun. All right.
Actually, though, I want to say thanks for those tips, because I'm organizing one in Hawaii on Sunday photo walk, and I didn't think about any time. So,
are we announcing this right now?
No, we're not.
There's no announcement now.
It's a secret. Secret that Trey's going to be there. But right now, they think it's just me.
Okay. All right. We'll
just
move away from that subject.
Nobody heard that.
Here, I'll share a few of my favorite photos from the photo walk. These are taken by other people. So let me screen share and go over here. By the way, I was reading the comments, Jessica.
Yes.
And I see here that somebody said, Craig Collins. You have a fan here with Craig Collins. He appears to be a large man holding a small helicopter.
Cool.
And he says, Jessica, you're my idol, both a pilot and a photographer.
Cool. Thanks, Craig.
And also, I see that many people on TWiT TV are complaining about that J.J. Abrams light behind me. We have taken action, and that light is now moved. I apologize. Hope you tune back in. Okay, here's some photos that there were many great photos that I found that I liked. Here's some of them. This is by Rudy Serrano. We spent some time underneath the pier, and he got over there before the rest of us while the sun was still up, and I kind of like the way these rays are coming through. It's pretty slick. I dig that one. Okay, here's another one I like. This one might be my favorite. This is from Robin Griggs Wood. She was there. She was very nice. Let me scroll. Here it is.
Yeah,
it's great. Terrific. Really, really smart. And it kind of makes you think. When I see stuff like this, I think, I wish I had gotten something like that. Because, there's always these pits and kind of mistakes in the beach and this sort of thing. And it really makes you want to use some of these strange shapes to your advantage when composing a shot. So I thought that was very smart of her.
Trey, what I love about that shot is that she managed to find a way to take a shot of the beach without anyone else in it in a photo walk with about 200 people in it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was really tricky to try to get around everybody. So I have a few shots where it was just like, oh, that one person wasn't there. It'd be a little bit better. But you're right. This is an excellent shot, and from this perspective of just getting that small imperfection in the beach and really nobody else in the shot. So
that's where a 10-step ND filter comes in handy. You just make the people vanish with the long exposures.
How do you feel about photoshopping them out? Are you against that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
We were discussing that earlier.
Yeah.
Trey will remove, but he will not add.
Yes, that's true.
I will add.
Yeah, you have a wider net than I do in that regard. Okay, let me share one more photo, and then I'm going to share a ton later. I'm just going to scroll through the tag and we'll look, but I'm just going to share one other favorite. I hate to pick favorites because there's really many, but I just kind of selected 3. I thought this was quite nice. The way that this was captured by Li Cheng kind of made it feel like it was an island or an offshore drilling rig, or just the light is really nice, and I like how he used compression to make the clouds bigger, and he just did a great job. And obviously it's a long exposure, and the water's all smoothed out, and I think it came out really sharp. So that's a cool one. All right, let me unshare my screen and then go over to Jessica, who flew by with a helicopter and got all kinds of shots. So you can share some of those and share some stories and just, use this opportunity to tell us more about you.
Sure. Is my screen sharing working?
Yes.
Okay. So we thought it would be cool to get a shot of the group from the air. I went up in a helicopter, a Robinson R-44, launched out of Santa Monica Airport, which is where I also fly out of. A friend of mine flew me in the helicopter, and we took one of the doors off that I was able to shoot out of. So this is a shot. I guess we got there around 5 o'clock, 4:45, 5, kind of when the photo walk was starting. You can see the group to the right of the photo over there by the parking lot. Let's see. Here's a tighter shot of the pier. Just kind of a busy day at the pier. There's the group.
What kind of lens and camera you were using?
I was using, I shoot with a Canon 5D Mark II. The lens I had was a 70-200. And it's tricky shooting from a helicopter because there are a lot of vibrations, so you have to hold really steady when you're taking the shot.
When you have the door off, are you just completely strapped in, or are you kind of moving around the helicopter, or are you?
Normally, I'll wear a harness if the door is off the airplane. In this case, I had the seatbelt on, and I wasn't moving around. No, I was just sitting in the seat, kind of leaned back away from the door because I didn't want the lens to get in the airstream so that it wouldn't shake at all.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever used gyros?
I have, and if this flight was kind of put together last minute, as you know, Trey, and so if I had had more time, I would have rented a gyro. But they're great, especially for shooting from a helicopter.
Cool. We'll keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Here's another shot of the group with the shadows from the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster. And here's another group shot. I posted this one to my Google profile, and people have been tagging themselves, so that's cool. And here, this is the photography I normally do, air-to-air photography, where you shoot one plane from another plane.
Jessica, that's not a real picture, is it? That's not real.
It's real. Yeah. This was shot at the end of the day. It's the last light of the day, the low light. I was in an airplane with the rear door removed. I'm harnessed in, I'm facing backwards in the seat, and another pilot's flying me. And I give positioning instructions to the subject plane, to this yellow biplane, through my pilot, such as like 10 feet higher, 20 feet lower, and we'll fly the chute like that.
How close were you to that plane?
This, we were probably 30 or 40 feet apart here.
Whoa.
Wow. So this is a dangerous hobby. I don't want to get into
it has its risks. I minimize the risks in certain ways. I have a set of formation pilots that I use on all my flights. They're all highly experienced with formation flying, which is a specific type of skill, and we've worked together many times. So I wouldn't do this with just any pilot.
Yeah. Show us more, Jessica.
Tom, given your luck with photography, don't do that, okay?
Yeah.
These are the Blue Angels, FA-18 Hornets. I shot this from the back of a C-130. It's a military cargo plane with the rear ramp door open. There were a few photographers on this shoot, and we were sitting in the back, harnessed in.
Did they have to slow down for you?
They probably a little bit.
So this is over Big Sur, right? You're flying over.
This was over Big Sur. We launched out of Salinas, California. There's a little airport there where they had performed at an air show there. We went up and turned down the coast. We went over Monterey and turned down. So this is somewhere over Big Sur.
And how did you find your way into the back of a C-130?
I was invited on that flight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jessica, there wasn't every time we see those planes, there's always some James Bond villain that tries to throw you out on some netting. That didn't happen, did it?
Fortunately not.
Oh, good.
This is one of the things I enjoy is shooting kind of mismatched aircraft. It's challenging, and I enjoy that. This is the little red biplane with the Citation jet. It's a challenge because they're so different in size, and the air speeds are different. There's a lot of different things to take into consideration.
You got it right over the Transamerica building.
Yeah, that's what we were aiming for. This shot took a lot of coordination and a lot of planning in advance. It was during Fleet Week a few years ago during the air show. We launched after the air show one day with the low light at the end of the day, and we flew a series of orbits by downtown to try to get the Transamerica building.
And did you plan it so that you could see the pilots' faces in the light?
I do. That's one of the things I try. You know, with the low light, you usually can get the pilot's face, and I ask them to sort of lean into the sun. It's hard on them because they're flying, you know, directly into the sun. See, they both have sunglasses on, but it's hard work for them.
This hobby does not seem inexpensive.
It's
not a hobby, right? Like, how do you arrange all these things?
I mean, it's not a hobby. Well, you know, I work for an aviation magazine. I do a lot of air-to-air for them, and then I do a lot on my own. This is a little Cirrus plane, a force over the Grand Canyon.
Wow. What lens is that? Gordon, I can't believe I beat you to that question.
I know, I'm letting you
This was a while ago. I believe it was a 28 to 135, which is a lens I like a lot for air-to-air because it's image stabilized and it seems to be the right focal length for the distance the planes are flying.
Do you ever have
Jessica, you were talking. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you ever have pilots that just ask you to shoot them? That they want?
I do, yes. Owners of airplanes, I'll do a lot of shoots like that. You know, they get a new airplane or they just want kind of glory shots of themselves, and I'll go up and shoot them, and they'll hang them in their offices or hangars or whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
Jessica,
Jessica,
I've got a technical
you need
question
somebody
for
to
you.
help you carry your bags next time you go on one?
Yeah.
I'm really good at that.
Cockpit.
That's unreal.
This is a Citation jet. I shot this from a Piper Seneca, which you can take the rear door off, and I'm sitting backwards, harnessed in, and you know, asking my pilots to lean into the sun, to smile. They're working hard, but I try to get them to relax a little bit so it doesn't show up on the shot.
Trey and I just decided we want a shot like that.
we can do that.
In a stealth bomber.
The plane too.
How do we do that?
Did you see on the TWiT chat that someone thinks the guy on the right, as we look at them, looks a bit like Leo?
That's funny.
You should have Brian Rose send an email to like Larry or Sergey, see if they want a shot. We'll take them.
Yeah.
Jessica.
Yeah, they can finance this whole thing.
Is my screen share off?
No,
Yes,
show us more,
it's off.
Jessica. We're going
Actually,
to toast.
that is all that I had set up to show.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, couldn't you have tried harder?
So
Here, well, I'll throw it over to Brian Rose.
I think if you go to my Google profile, there are more.
Okay, go
Or
find
my website, which is jessicaambats.com.
photos and to entertain us. I'm going to go over to Brian and have him share some photos from the event in the meantime.
Right before I do that, Jessica, I just had one question about your Transamerica shot with the two planes that they almost look like they're about to touch each other. They're so close. Are there any tricks that you can do with the lens, like if you're using a telephoto zoom that helps compress that space?
Certainly, yeah. If you zoom in, it will definitely compress the planes. They look a lot closer in that photo than they actually are. They are close to begin with, so that helps. But it's a trick of compression with the lens for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm not sure. Is my screen share still on or off?
It's off.
Okay, cool.
Jessica, I have a question.
Yes.
Do those shots, you get them pretty much on first try?
Well, I've been doing this for quite a while, so I've got the hang of it by now. But no, you know, on any given shoot, you'll go up and you'll fly for an hour and just take lots of photos. The big trick in it is to be real steady with the camera, because especially with propeller planes, you're shooting with a low shutter speed, because that gives the nice blur to the prop arc that you see in some of the photos. So you have to be really steady to do it. So if it's a bumpy day, it's pretty tricky, and it'll take, you know, a fair amount of photos to get one really nice and sharp one.
Cool. All right, Brian, go wild. Everyone, watch out.
Watch out now.
Cool. So hopefully you guys can see my screen now.
Yep.
So yeah, I really like this photo from Enrique. He's a local photog here in LA. He actually hosts photo walks pretty often. He does a lot of night photo walks, likes to focus on a lot of long exposures. And so it was nice to see him out of his element, taking these black and whites when there's so many other people doing either HDR or color photography at the pier. And so this was another one where, you know, he waited for the right moment. I'm not sure if he actually used Photoshop to crop anyone out, but it seemed like he was just waiting for basically an open space in the sand to take this photo. So yeah, I like the composition of this here. It's just the emptiness. And then there's a few others in this album as well. You can check them out. Enrique Gutierrez. You can see his name there. There's also Lauren. I like the colors coming from the sky here, also from the twilight, but then also just the motion from the long exposure of the flag. I thought that was pretty nice. There's yeah, just something really interesting to me about the photo, the different geometry and the shapes. But yeah, for me it was really, I like to see motion in photos. So this was pretty nice. And then lastly, I love this photo by Chris. It's just another somewhat long exposure. You can see the waters kind of blurred out there, but just the reflection in the sand from that wet sand I thought was pretty slick. So I mean, overall the photo walk was just amazing. I had a real blast just meeting all these new friends, new photographers, and yeah, it was great meeting everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for all your support. We appreciate it. I think Tom he had a funny encounter, or well, he had an interesting encounter. A little story. I'll let him tell it because it's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, your photo, well, the photo you just shared reminded me of it. The one with just the one guy out there. I met one of the first people I met when I came out was an older lady, probably in her 50s, and she told me that she's agoraphobic, and it was photography that actually got her to start coming outside again and sort of helping. For some reason, when she's got a camera in her hands, she's able to get over that a little bit. And her husband was actually in a hotel up on Ocean, not far away, just so if she, you know, started feeling the anxiety of that she could get back to a place if she needed to right away. But it was pretty awesome. She was a super cool lady. And, you know, talking to her, you wouldn't think that she had an issue with this at all. But it's just another one of those things where it just shows you what, you know, photography can do for people. Why? I don't know. But for some reason, she felt comfortable being able to come out and be in the open space around all these people with her camera. And she was so excited to be there. And she met a bunch of people. And I'm not going to say her name because she's like, it's, you know, she was kind of, it's a secret a little bit about how she was feeling about it. But that was a nice moment I had before everything went wrong for me.
Yeah. Maybe you should have stayed inside.
Yeah.
Well, it was, these photo walks are great, and that speaks to one thing that I don't think most people know, is that whenever you go to a photo walk, I would say over 50% of the crowd is new, and it's their first photo walk. So don't let that dissuade you from photo walks in your local community. Just go out, and most people there are new. Most people there are getting to know each other, and that's kind of the most powerful thing about it, is that it's not like, when we do it, it's not like Trey-centric or Tom-centric. It's like community-centric. And that's when things really get interesting, when the community starts talking with each other and meeting each other and sharing photos. So we're really just a couple of bumbling idiots that happen to organize the thing. But then the crowd really takes over, and it becomes its own entity. And that's the exciting part of these photo walks to me.
People are always a lot nicer in moments like this than they are in everyday life too. It's almost like mini Burning Man. Everybody gets cool for an hour or two at the photo walk instead of a week at Burning Man. There's something about when everyone has a shared interest and they all come out for this thing that their nice factor goes up by 3x.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that happens, but you're never going to feel lonely or like an outsider or weird at one of these things because people are just so friendly. They're making fudge.
Hey. In addition to it being a lot of people's first time through photo walks, I just wanted to remind people that not everyone has a DSLR. There's tons of people that I saw who had point and shoots. There are a lot of people taking photos with their cell phones. A couple guys taking photos with their tablets. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to have a expensive camera. It's just a love for photos, for photography. Just come out, have fun, make some friends, and take photos together. And then what I really like actually about these large photo walks is that it gives us an opportunity to actually break off. So there are a couple of us who like street photos, and so while you guys were down there on the beach and taking photos of the pier and taking photos of that Ferris wheel, we just walked up to the pier and then started taking photos of the people, just the tourists walking around. So it's you don't have to stay all together in one clump. You don't have to be a pro. Just come out and have fun.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to mention another aspect of photo walks that I was just told about this week. A guy called John Butterill contacted me about, he calls it general support, friends that listen, and it's about inviting people on photo walks who are physically unable to attend a photo walk. Maybe they're differently abled, or they're ill, or there's some reason why they can't come to a photo walk or even visit a different location. And he was telling me about photo walks that people are doing where you're actually broadcasting live with a Hangout through a smartphone, and you would mount it on top of a camera, and then this person would actually say, hey, can you go over there or take a picture of this? And he wondered if it was something that we could do maybe on the next one in Queenstown. And I was saying, yeah, that's something, that sounds like a great idea, although, there are bandwidth and connectivity issues where I'm based. But if that is something that interests anyone, then, do check out, they've got a Google Plus page, again, called Friends That Listen. So check that out if that's something that interests you. I thought it was a really interesting convergence of Hangouts and photo walks, combining our two favorite things and for a good cause too. So, maybe we could invite people from all over the world to see some of the places that we're shooting.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I don't have any inside information, but I expect that pretty soon we're going to be able to start Hangouts from our Android phones. There's really no reason that we can't do that, and that'll be awesome. By the way, Brian, didn't I see you walking around using one of these new 41 megapixel cell phones? Was I wrong?
Yeah.
But not you?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that you probably don't know about me, I don't carry a cell phone.
I do know that. I was shocked when I heard it. How can the guy that runs Google Photos Community, one of the top guys at Google, not even have not only an Android phone, but not even a phone?
I can do everything through Gmail, and there's Wi-Fi everywhere. It ends up actually being really liberating not to always carry a phone with me. But it does create some issues. But for the most part, I actually like it better.
Who are you trying to escape? Your wife looked really cute. We saw her.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
It's not my wife. It's work. It's if I carry the cell phone, I know I'm never 5 minutes away from an emergency page.
True.
Cool. All right. Well, Jessica, did you find a few more photos?
I did.
Okay, show us 5 more, and then I'll share photos from the photo walk, and then we'll probably have to wrap this up here.
Is that working?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is
I just want to say, every time you show a photo, all the crew that's here in our house, they all reach around, they squeeze around just to come look at it. They're
awesome.
Okay.
This was at the end of the day with
If you want to.
the low light. I'll just go through them quickly. This is an example of using a slow shutter speed to blur the prop so it's a complete circle.
Wow.
This is along Malibu.
Oh, it's crazy.
So that kind of shot you had, did you like have some sort of like bomb door that you opened and shot between your legs? I mean, like down.
I actually was shooting through the belly of the plane for this photo. There was an opening in the floor of the plane, and I was pretty much laying flat down and harnessed in and just shooting straight down.
Incredible.
Do you ever get hired by movies to be on set?
I have not, no.
That's another area you got to get into. Film photography and stuff.
This is in Colorado in the Rockies. Oh, that's so small. Golden Gate.
Wow. Why is it so small?
I don't know. I just grabbed a few photos. I guess that was low res.
Wow, that's great too.
Yeah.
What were those did you have him go over those lines specifically down in the sand, or?
I had him fly. We flew a pattern of circles around the sand. Yeah.
You didn't draw the lines like you did else in every other shot. You went down to the sand and put that in there too.
Nope.
Like, what didn't you prepare? You know, it's like so cool.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Finish that ebook. You need to hurry.
I
Stop
know.
moving around and taking pictures of us on photo walks and finish the ebook. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And also, can you ask Brian those I can reach out to him for paper?
Yes. No problem.
He can help us with our problem.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. We had some behind-the-scenes activity in front of the scenes. Let me share a few photos from the event. I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen here. Here we go. Let me share this window. So here I clicked on the tag here, and there's so many photos. I've been clicking on this all day, and new stuff comes in. There's a cool one from Daniel Peckham. There's a lot when we're standing up on this thing. And actually, I feel bad. I get tagged with so many photos, but most are okay. Some I actually don't approve because I just look too goofy. I'm very sensitive. You know, unicorns are vain. You know. So I'm sorry if I don't approve everybody's photo, but I get kind of picky sometimes. You know how it is. If you're a girl, you know what I mean. Was that on the beach?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Karen did it.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
She's not going to...
She marked it as LA Photo Walk. It must have been there.
Karen's not a liar.
That's one of the buskers. She's over at the pier pretty often. She hovers kind of near the entrance to the pier.
Oh.
Wow, you just missed her.
Wow, I missed her. That's the thing about photo walks is you walk around and you think you see everything, and then you get back, you look at the stuff, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, this thing, I can't believe we missed it.
Yeah.
We never went to the other side of the pier and completely missed this whole cemetery or memorial that was set up.
That giant cemetery doesn't really add to the milieu of a fun circus, though.
Hey, Trey, can you widen your browser window?
Yes, sir. I will. Is that good?
Even wider if you can.
Okay.
There you go. Good.
This is kind of a wild one for Daniel, isn't it? Wow. That's really HDR'd up, but I like it. You guys know.
It's restrained, Trey. It's restrained.
There's Johnny Yazerman. Probably said that wrong. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He reshared Dave Reichardt's photo.
Dave actually had another one that we were looking through that was actually excellent. I don't know if you shared it somewhere, but it was like an after the photo walk. I don't know if you can click on Dave's, but he had another one.
A new tab here. And
scroll down. It might be there somewhere. That one. That one I thought was really excellent.
By the way, here's a little tip, guys. Did you know that if you click on the timestamp, that it will load it into its own window? And then you can just kind of follow this in a tab or something. That's a big tip. That is a great photo.
Yeah.
That is a great photo. Thank you for telling me about that one. Here's a bunch. I like it when people load these albums. I actually feel lame. I just do one photo. Some people put up whole albums, which I like. That's David Sheehan. Here's Stephanie Roberts with some nice pink and purple tones. Stephanie Roberts. That's interesting how she did that. Yeah. That's kind of a neat effect. That's cool. I bet that was all in camera too. I always admire it when people get special effects in camera. I hate that guy. Yeah.
Come stand. No, I don't want to.
Hey, I have a dumb question, you guys. So you guys, I guess you saw my photo, right? This girl, isn't this girl this girl?
Yeah, she was the one that...
Is that the same girl?
I think she was with someone on the photo walk.
Yeah, that's
because she's carrying this little tripod weapon.
Yeah, I saw her with somebody during the photo walk. I don't remember who, but...
So, I heard all her photos got wiped too.
And Sage Stevens.
Hey, I think that tripod bag's a Gitzo mini traveler tripod. I've got one of those. I saved for years to afford it. She's a pretty cool kid, if that's what I think it is.
She was the first kid coach. It was pretty awesome. She got up on the steps, and she was going to be the coach for any of the kids on the photo walk, because there were a lot of kids there.
Yeah, that's great. Here's one from Marina Chen. She did a few black and whites, but very nice and simple. I like it. There's that girl again. I feel like the only one that missed her. There's the one that Terrence shared. This is one from Deanna Sparks. Sure I said that wrong. I'm sorry. There's Jessica hanging out in the helicopter. Awesome. Can we see you hanging out, actually? Almost cool. There's another nice one of, this is me and that.
Favorite guy.
Yeah, I'm the one with the shirt on there.
Couldn't tell, Trey. I thought you were the other one.
Yeah, he didn't have to like throw his chest into my shoulder. It's in a suggestive manner. There's that guy again. Let's scroll past him. This is the wildest name of the photo walk. Sassy Manshausen. Many cool photos from Sassy. There's Robin again. She was very nice. There's Ryan. Frankie. Jonathan Bentley. Me. There's one from Marina Chen. This is always so cool to me, you know, when you see people's photos shared internationally. I think that's the coolest thing. I was talking to Leo about this, and there's something about photos. They're sort of this international language. Now that we're on these social networks, right, that go around the world, you can't read everyone's writing, but there are certain universal things that photos communicate. So in many ways, it's one of the coolest ways we can communicate across borders is with photos. So I always like to see these cross-cultural shares. There's Tom looking dashing. All kinds of stuff. I can go through these all night. You're probably getting an idea. I'm just scratching the surface. So I encourage everyone to go through there and comment and give feedback and that sort of stuff. All right, well, we should wrap it up. It's been a little bit over an hour here. Thank you guys very much for coming. Thanks everyone for coming out to the photo walk. We'll be doing many more of these around the world personally. We'll be organizing them everywhere. But But I hope that you guys are kind of inspired to do the same thing in your own community and meet people. It doesn't matter if it's big or small or how many people show up, because the people that show up are the ones that are meant to show up, and you'll have a great time together. Okay. Any parting words for you, Tom?
No, but I should just hold up my dead camera. Nobody's gotten to see it.
Oh, right.
This is the one that fell in the ocean. I don't know if you can see the big crack.
Here, let me get the here.
How did you retrieve it?
Well, this other guy did it, actually. But I should reenact this a little bit because I haven't done it in front of a camera. So my tripod was fully extended, and it was. You have a good angle.
Let me scoot back here.
Yeah, let's reenact this.
Sorry, we're getting it from multiple angles.
How about this?
Okay, hold on.
And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, I posted about this. My camera broke, and went into the ocean. And I was on a pier in Long Beach, and the front leg just started to sink, and I lost balance, and it just tipped slowly over the railing and fell about 10 feet below, just lens first, right on this concrete thing. And then sort of bounced backwards into the water and sunk like this. Watching the 3 legs of my tripod descend into the depths of the ocean. And this guy just ran. He was running down the pier, and he just grabbed one leg of it and saved the whole thing. But when he pulled it out, where is it? It was completely, the casing is just totally, it's got these huge cracks in it. So if you ever wanted to see a D3S, we don't have light there.
Here, wait, I'll get in there.
Tom, this is the same camera that can survive naked in space, and even you managed to break it.
Right, yeah. On this side, too. Can you see that?
Full of seawater.
Here's all the, this is the part I didn't wipe off. You can just see like all the salt on it. So it just, all the salt water rushed in there. And now it'll just be a collector's item for me, just a memorabilia, a piece of memorabilia. So right now I got a loaner from borrowlenses.com. Thank you guys for sending this over to me.
Okay, well,
that was just nuts.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Crazy camera angles.
We're gonna bow out. I think the hangout will still go on for a little while. We got to run. But thank you for coming, and thanks again for showing up for the photo walk. And we will see you next time. Okay, everyone can wave goodbye now. We'll end the broadcast.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.